the 207 podcast. I'm your host, Angel. And for the guest speaker, we have.
Sammy,
Oh, she's Sammy? Okay.
or someone Alguera, whichever you
Sammy
prefer.
again. Cool. And so, how are you, Sammy? Everything good, bro? Everything
Yeah.
good, bro?
Yeah, chilling.
Family good?
Yeah, family's good. My brother's studying right now, EMT.
How is your brother?
Oh, he's doing good. He's either working. Yeah, he's probably either working or he's studying or he's in college right now.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself, Sammy. Like, let the audience get to know you a little bit.
Well, I mean, interest-wise, I have a lot. I'm working on this research project on Christian ethics. I'm also avidly into collecting Lego cars. Yeah, like last week I built this Mercedes, like a Mercedes Formula One car and like the regular AMG one. It ended up being really cool. I'll show you a picture of it later.
Fire. So, yeah, you got like something.
Oh.
So, Sammy, just to get straight to the answer, how'd you meet Jesus? How is it that you met our Savior?
Well, I mean, being realistic, I feel like a lot of people, they have different ways in which they've met Jesus, right? For me personally, how it was that I grew up in the church, right?
Okay.
My parents, they had this whole thing, right? They were like bouncing between different churches and whatnot. And then they went to a Central church, to an Adventist church, Miami Central. And there I was, and that's basically where I've been the whole time.
Yeah.
So my relationship with Jesus has always been very firm since the day I was born.
Oh, so you've always believed in Jesus. You
Yeah.
never had you weren't off, obviously you've been off and off of it.
Yeah.
But well, my question is you weren't oh, just because my parents believe it, I'm gonna believe it. But you, is that's how you got into it, or
Oh, I mean, at first when I was younger, right, I was like, oh, what's the point? Like, oh, I'm only going to church because, my parents tell me whatnot.
Okay.
But as I got older, they started giving me the choice of whether or not I wanted to go to church. And as they continued giving me that choice, I started actually growing a relationship with God to a point where I wanted to study theology.
So you're planning on being a pastor?
Yeah, I'm planning on being a pastor.
I see you preach. You preach really good. I
Thank
see you
you, man.
preaching with I think Aura and Jamil.
Yeah, I preached with Torah and Jamil.
Fire.
Jamil, I think it was like it was like a month ago, I think. Orad was last year though.
So you met Jesus through through your parents, basically.
Yeah.
Because your parents are so your parents did a good job. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
They introduced Christ to you
Yeah.
by introducing you to the church. So yeah, actually, so you had an amazing, because my experience with the church was not good as me as a kid.
Really?
But-
How was your experience?
Yeah, my experience was straight my mom showed me Christ, but they showed me Christ with fear. They showed you Christ with a relationship, an option. They showed me Christ with you have to. You get me?
Oh, so they
Like,
forced you.
They forced
you to go
exactly.
to church.
And going to church, you have to wear this, you have to do that, you have to do this and that.
Yeah.
So they kind of forced that into me. So how I met Christ was way different. Yours sounds beautiful. You're blessed to have
Shit.
parents like that
Thank you.
and a church like that. That's beautiful, bro.
Actually, that piqued my interest a bit when you were saying how you were forced to go, because I feel like that's the reason why a lot of young people tend to leave the church at such an early age.
Yeah.
Because since they're always continuously forced to go to church, their parents will berate them if they don't. They tend to get religious trauma by that, to a point where they just leave the church and the religion as a whole.
Well, surprisingly, me leaving the church helped me to get more Christ.
Really?
So I'm saying, yeah, because the church wasn't really at that time. I still go to the same church. The church is doing way better. Obviously, they're doing amazing now.
What church do you go to, brother?
Los Peregrinos. It's found in Hialeah, I think, somewhere around there, or Revive. I go to Revive too.
Oh, right.
But I go to the church, right? I still go to it and everything. They're doing way better now. They're doing an amazing job. But back then, it was always with fear. They were always showing Christ with fear. So when I left the church, actually, I just stopped going, or I didn't stop going. I still went, But like, I just stopped paying attention. You get me? Like, I just didn't care anymore. Like, I was on my phone all the time. There was no point anymore. Like, I was with my friends outside the church, this and that.
Yeah, because I imagine they preach like hell and brimstone type.
Exactly. So, as I'm not paying attention, I'm starting to get my life's getting harder, right? But as my life's getting harder, I'm tending to like seek Christ more. You get me? So I feel like sometimes if we just leave the church, because I think people like me who have religious fears or
religious fears.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's better to leave the religious because it's not about religion.
It's about the relationship.
It's about a relationship. Exactly. That's what I think. That's what's still confusing people now. Like in our school, in churches, when they try to show fear, because yes, you're supposed to be fear of God, but do you fear your mother?
No.
But you are scared when she punishes you.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly with God. God's not gonna punish you, but you are afraid. Like you're afraid of what He can do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's that the fear love, basically. That fear love. Because I fear my mom, but not into a point where like I have to fear my mom. You get me? Where I have to obey my mom.
Yeah, it's more
I
of a
obey
relationship.
exactly. I obey her because I love her, not because I have to. I don't have to. I can be that one kid that doesn't listen to their parents. I don't do whatever. But no, I do. I listen to her.
And I feel like that reminds me of like last year when I was doing AP Psych, right? They used like three terminologies of parents. It was like negligent parents, authoritative parents, and authoritarian parents.
Can you explain those? Because I don't even.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
So-
anything about that.
So basically, authoritative parents are parents that tend to be more like, your curfew is at 11 p.m., but but if you come at like 11:05, 11:10, whatnot, just let me know, obviously.
Okay, so like strict, not strict.
Yeah,
basically parents.
strict.
Okay.
They impose rules and punishment, but they still give you your own freedom.
So they're like they give you guidelines because they worry about you.
Exactly.
But they also let you like
They give you your own free will. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Meanwhile, authoritarian parents, it's at 11 p.m. you're at the house. At 11 p.m. you're at the house.
And if you're not at the house,
You
you're
get
in trouble.
punished.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, got you.
So, and I feel like that's a lot. That's also like how it is with the churches as well. Your parents, like, if they're authoritarian style parents, they would be like, no, you're going to the church on Saturday because I want you to go to church on Saturday. Meanwhile, authoritative, they're like, okay, you could wake up early, you could go to church, because they wouldn't, because, how do I say this? Because they don't want to force a relationship upon you.
Yeah.
They don't want to force you to do something that...
They want to let you choose.
Yeah, they want to let you
life.
do your own choice. Yeah, exactly.
I think parents who do that, they truly understand. Like, they show them who Christ is, and then they let them make the choice. Because their job is just to show who Christ is, not to force them into a relationship with Him.
Yeah, exactly.
So how can I say this? As they show Him, they let them make the decision. Now, if they choose not to, they know it wasn't them, because it's what they choose for what they want to do for their lives, basically. But I feel like parents who do that. By the way, I'm not a parent. You know what I mean? You're not a parent, so we don't know anything about what parents should actually do. But this is just from our opinion, our experiences, our studies, that we have known that we think parents should be more like that. Especially parents who come from Hispanics or from other countries. We know American parents are a little bit more easier on their kids.
Yeah.
Supposedly, not saying for all kids, you get me, not for all kids. But for most of the kids now, like, they don't show them any discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think that's bad. I think, yes, you shouldn't have to get mad. You should give your child free will. But I think there should be a max on where they shouldn't just pass the will. Because I know people who try to do what we're talking about, but they just give too much free will. They give it too much, and then their kid just starts
abusing
them. They start coming home at 1 p.m. They start drinking. They start doing drugs. They start doing that. They start taking it for granted what their parents are trying to do for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should always be a guideline. Like, for example, your parents obviously, I mean, to me it looks like they gave you a guideline where, like, don't cross this.
Yeah.
You cross that, you will get in trouble.
Yeah.
You get me? And I feel like that's what we should do. That's what more parents should do.
And I feel like it also goes on to the terms with God Himself, right? Since even the beginning, when Satan rebelled against God and all of that, he had that choice to rebel against him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like if it was like some predestined. Well, I mean, you could assume it was predestined. You can't, however you see it. But regardless, though, Satan had the choice of whether to repent of his choices or to continue with his rebellion, and he chose the latter. He chose to continue with his rebellion, leading him to his eventual downfall. So, God giving us that free will, giving us that will to like make our own choices to choose whether or not to follow him or to not follow him, is mainly what parents should be teaching instead of just, oh yeah, go to church or else you're going to hell. And instead, because a lot of parents like tend to go into that approach of, oh, you're gonna go to hell if you don't do this, you're gonna do this if you don't do this, like I'm gonna punish you or whatnot. Meanwhile, God is saying you have that free will, you have that choice of what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think I feel like he had a question. I feel like he was just saying he had a question, but he didn't say anything. By the way, guys, we do have other kids in this classroom, so bear with us. But either way, so yeah, but your life hasn't been easy, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Because let's open up a bit. You obviously I don't know what type of system it is that your mouth is like this. Like,
yeah, let me kind of explain how that is. So basically, when I was born, right, like nerve.
Yeah.
Because you know how your body's composed of like several nerves and whatnot.
Yeah,
right?
biology.
Yeah. So this thing called seventh nerve, right? It's kind of like dormant, causing my face to like kind of like be droopy in a way. So like basically, I was kind of born with that in a way, so I would just have to like live with it.
Okay. But you would never blame God. You would never like echarle la culpa.
Honestly, at first I was confused as I was saying like, oh, why did I have to be
why did it have to be you?
Yeah, but then again, when I think about it, there's kids who are born with like without limbs, without good memory, without anything, and then I'm like, oh, I thank God that like this was the only thing I got. I could have been definitely way off worse.
So you always look at the bright side.
Yeah, I always look at the bright side.
So you're a person who likes to look at the bright side, who likes to be like, I could be worse.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like people haven't made it easy for you to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing we all had that one person that makes fun of us.
Yeah, well, we've all dealt with people, with like those insulting people, whatnot, that would always like ridicule you no matter what you do. But, you tend to just, how do I say this? You tend to always just go persevere through it, like at that point. Cause
not let it affect you.
Yeah, not let it affect you. Because at the end of the day, it's really just your own character that people judge. Like they judge whether or not you're a good person, a bad person, whether or not you're, whether or not like you contribute to the world or not in a way. That's what people truly see, in my opinion.
And what do you think about? What do you think about the pastors now? Since you're wanting to become a pastor, what do you think about the pastors now? Obviously, hey, in my experience, the way that pastors are growing now are so much better. Like they're learning more, they're doing more. Like for example, Cliff, big changer, a huge changer to Christianity in general. We have his son, who's also a pastor, also a big change. We have Bishop. You know who that is?
Bishop. Yes.
The guy with the white beard, who got his eye stabbed.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Also another huge game changer to Christianity. But what do you think now how pastors are? Because obviously we have pastors from back then who showed God as you have, like he's a big person. Like if you do this bad, you're gonna go to hell. But what do you think of how much have they grown throughout the years?
Honestly, I feel as the pastors are starting to get more, how do I say this, better educated with the Bible. They're starting to grow their relationship more, and they're kind of moving away from that whole like fire and brimstone type style of preaching, and preaching more of like God's message, what you have to do. Sometimes they do tend to get a bit repetitive, but other times, because for me, I like it when pastors like talk about about those type of controversial stuff,
Yeah.
when like they actually like make you think for a second. And I feel like that's what a lot of pastors nowadays are doing. They're starting to like ask more questions. They're like trying to make you think more.
But wait, make sure your food don't get cold. Like you can eat it, don't worry.
No, yeah.
So obviously they've grown
Yeah.
since from 1960 or something.
Yeah, to now.
But are we the only religion, like in your point of view, are we the only religion who has people growing? Because now we have, for example, ever since Cliff started taking the videos and preaching out, now we have Muslims doing it.
Yeah.
Now I've only seen the Muslims
Yeah.
start doing it now. I haven't seen any other religion, but maybe there's others that are doing it too. What do you think about that?
I mean, honestly, I find it good because, how we were saying in the beginning, right, that it's not about the religion, it's about the relationship. I feel like people that are speaking more about God, no matter the religion, because I deeply respect Islam. I respect the religion, I respect their traditions.
Obviously, whatever I hear, I've never like, do not quote me on any of this. I've never like read anything about Islam, but I hear that they are strong to believe like if
Yeah.
you talk about, even though they don't believe that Jesus is the Christ, they believe he's a prophet.
Yeah, they do believe.
So if you talk bad about Jesus, they're not gonna let you fight with that, right?
Yeah.
Because I hear they get mad.
Yeah, no,
Like, they're really defensive about it.
Yeah, no, they're really strict with their religion. They impose it. I feel like that's another thing that they have, that they tend to impose their religion harder.
Please make sure to respond to the survey. It is posted on Teams. If you did not access it through your phone, you could do it through your computer. We need it by today. Thank you. So sorry if I.
No, you good.
You're
Don't
good,
worry,
you're good.
All right, you were saying?
Going back to my train of thought. They tend to be a little bit more stricter with their religion. And I feel like, I kind of lost my train of thought with that. So let me.
Yeah, but what I think about, like, this is a different question, but Muslims, have you ever looked into it? Like, have you ever
Yeah.
studied? Because I've been wanting to study it, not because I've been having thoughts about Christ,
Yeah.
but to, if anything, to grow in my faith with Christ. Because Muslims say they're right, Christians say they're right.
Yeah.
What's another religion?
I mean, you could say Judaism.
Yeah, Judaism.
Judaism.
Judaism, they think they're right.
Yeah, Hinduism.
Hinduism, they think they're right. Every religion thinks they're right.
Yeah.
But obviously, what I have read, the most factual to that day, because I see Muslims now, they're preaching, and every time there's a Christian that pops up there, they're getting shut down. Like automatically, they get shut down. Obviously, Muslims have their own. Sometimes they shut down us. You get me? Like they get us sometimes, which is obvious.
Yeah.
But now I see that Christ has the most evidence right now. But what do you think about Muslim? Like, in your point of view, what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, you know how earlier I said that I was doing that like research project.
Yeah.
As I was doing research on like those various religions, I found that like Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, they all root to Abraham. They all have like that like common ancestor.
Yeah.
You want to say? And then from
But
there they branch out.
don't we all come from Abraham?
Yeah.
Abraham is the father. Oh, okay, so yeah. I was about to say, most of the religions should come from Abraham.
Yeah,
Not
should
all of them,
come from
obviously.
Abraham. Yeah.
But those three make sense because they're all Jewish, right?
Yeah, they're all no, Islam is more Islamic.
But okay, no, wait. Because what's this guy's name that they believe in? Muhammad.
Yeah.
Isn't Muhammad a Jew? He came. Yeah, isn't he a Jew?
Was?
Okay, I don't know. You see, like I said, I'm not deep into this history. I am gonna search it up. I am gonna do research in time. But for now, I think he was a Jew, and if he wasn't, correct me in the comments, guys. But either way, it's amazing how like, even though I have the most respect for the Muslims. I have very much respect for them because even though we might disagree in what we see, they still defend. Like, you get me?
Yeah.
Like
they still
ours
defend their
obviously says we can defend ours, but not with like, you get me, with so
Yeah,
much
physical
pushing
violence,
hatred.
yeah.
But theirs doesn't say anything about that. To my point of view, what I think, what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
But
Because
And
obviously, there's extremists in both ends.
exactly. But what I respect them almost, since it doesn't say it, they do it. They truly defend what they believe in.
Yeah, they
And
defend the religion.
exactly. They don't let anyone push them back. For example, when us Christians, when we shut them down, they don't even they don't be quiet. They still like bring out
Yeah, they
more
still
pointers.
persist.
Exactly. They still desist. They still that. So I have the most respect for them.
Yeah.
Do I want them to see our point of view in life? Yes. But I also respect on the way they follow. I guess you can say how they follow their Christ.
Yeah. I gotcha. Oh yeah, going back to what you were saying about like difference between like Christianity, Islam, whatnot. While I do, obviously Christianity is my religion. Islam's their teachings, they're okay. How do I phrase this? Islam's teachings and Christianity's teachings, they sometimes tend to overlap. In a few instances, they do tend to overlap. For example, Ishmael, right?
Ishmael. Hold on.
Yeah, Ishmael was basically
I know who you're talking. I know. I've heard that name before. Hold on. Who is it again?
son of Abraham.
Yeah, I know Ishmael. I know
Yeah.
Ishmael.
So Ishmael is revered by Islam, while
Oh, so Ishmael
yeah, from
went to
Ishmael.
Islam, or he?
No. In a way, how do I explain this? In Genesis, right? When Ishmael was born, right? God had promised his mother, oh yeah, from him a great nation will also be born.
Mhm.
He basically gave the same promise he gave Isaac,
Isaac,
Sarah,
yeah.
and Isaac to Ishmael as well. And then even in the
Wait.
Quran,
But was it? His name wasn't Ishmael. His name. I think his name. You have
Yeah.
you're more historically onto that,
Yeah.
not me. So I'm probably thinking about someone else. But no, yeah, I'm thinking about someone else. Don't worry about me. Yeah,
You're good, you're good,
Yeah, you
you're
see,
good.
like I'm not. I gotta really start because the only books, the only part I read was I finished the whole New Testament, and that's the one I was most interested about because I wanted to know Christ.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what is it that we do now. Should I get historically into it? Very much so. Have I done it? No. That's on me. School. Matter of fact, we'll get into that later. Keep going what you're saying.
So as I was saying, right? So Ishmael, he continued. So from him branched out, Muslim.
The Muslims. That's
yeah.
where they came from.
Yeah, that's where
Okay.
they came from.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And then Isaac, Christianity, well, first it was Judaism, and then Christianity kind of branched out of Judaism after Christ. So I don't know. I just find it interesting how Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, even though they're in conflicts, they still find ways to even in the Bible it says to respect each other. So I always find that admirable that even with our differences we still have some shared similarities.
So okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree. I see what you're talking about now. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, let me move in the mic more just in case y'all can't hear this. But I was gonna say, what do you think about school? Like GMA, we know GMA is a Christian school, but they're always telling us, you get me? All the teachers are always telling us, read your Bibles, you get me? Connect with God. But then they're also giving us hella homework. And then they also ask us to play sports. And then let's talk about reality. Then when we get home, we're tired. We got homework to do. We gotta eat. We gotta shower. We gotta do our chores if we have any. And if we don't have to do our chores, we probably want time for ourselves.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Because in my opinion, I feel like they're hypocriting on what they're saying because they're telling us, go read your Bible. Yet they're giving us a lot of homework. Well, I'm not saying you're not my bad. They're not being hypocritical,
Yeah.
but they're giving us hella homework, and when we're done with that homework, it's already 10,
Yeah.
9, 8. It's already about to be not our bedtime, but time to go to sleep because most of us have to wake up early.
Yeah, 6, 5.
Yeah, 5, and then we have to get at least 8 hours of sleep for our bodies to nutrient. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, starting starting off, when you say school, like, in what aspect do you mean? Like the religious aspect of GMA, or more of like the homework and tests and whatnot aspect?
Whichever one you want to think about, because at that point, I think it's just both.
Yeah.
Because the homework they give us, because the religious side, we know that GMA is amazing. What they're doing right now, especially this year, they're going off the charts. Okay, they've been doing amazing right now, but they're not letting us get personal time with God. Like, I'm having to do this in lunchtime. What if I could do this first period or second period, or what in the morning, or one day I can do it in chapel? You get me? Like, where is it that, you get me? I understand that that's like, you get me? If you have a class for a period, makes sense. But what if you get homework? What if you have a test next week? Then you can't study at home. You have to study at school in your lunchtime. You get me? So sometimes it doesn't look as they don't even give us time to do our work, so we can have personal time with God. You get me?
I mean, I guess best way I can answer that.
You don't have to answer that, by the way. Like, you get me? Like, if you don't feel comfortable answering something, don't answer it. You can be like, no comment, or be like, let's just skip that part. You get me?
I mean, the thing with GMA, right, is that you have to also take into account that, yeah, we're a religious school, but in the same time, we're a school. So they would have to give us a substantial amount of like homeworks or whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes
definitely.
I do, but I do get what you mean though, because sometimes I feel like the homeworks are like stupid or dumb and whatnot. Like,
Well, actually, like, yeah, at that point, like, I feel like sometimes teachers do pass by like the homeworks. Like, for example, they give me a study guide. I know. By the way, I'm not going out for a specific teacher. By the way, like, okay, every teacher kind of does the same thing, so I'm not going for a specific teacher. What you guys do in GMA is incredible. Okay, the fact that you guys are able to share the gospel and still give us schoolwork is amazing. Okay, like, you're still able to educate us in life, which is awesome. But my only complaint is you guys give us homework. They give us homework. Then when we go and turn in the homework, it's just for us to use it to study.
yeah.
Now, if I don't have to turn it in for a grade, don't you think there are better ways to do it where I can find time with God, personal time? You get me? Like, that's happened to all of us. You get me?
Yeah, and I feel like as well as sometimes they would be giving us like homework basically every other day of the week. And last year it was kind of funny because I had a quiz basically, like I had either a quiz, a test, or like an essay or whatever, like every other day. So, obviously I was always being overworked, constantly overworked. But I think the best way to do it is kind of like find your time. So, because even if it's just like a short 2-minute prayer in the morning or a quick 2-minute prayer at night, you can still find like a specific time in your schedule to fit in God. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's easy, because I am agreeing with you in the fact that they give us like a substantially high amount of homework. For example, I have to write an essay for an English class tomorrow. That's due tomorrow. So obviously, like, they make you work a lot, but in the same time, for example, in chapel today, those like icebreaker things that Pastor Jamil is implementing this week,
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Jamil is like off the hooks with that too. By the way, but for you guys that do not know what chapel is like a time we take. Like, it's a period we take where we go and we sit down with the whole high school or middle school and we just talk about God. Like, we have a preacher, which is our pastor, Jamil, who goes and talks about him. And Jamil, like, can we just talk about, like, Jamil has been a massive upgrade to the school.
Yeah, no.
Compared to other years, has been a massive upgrade to the school. At least to, like, I came here freshman year.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this has been, but, like, it's been off the hooks. Like, Jamil's been doing an incredible job.
Yeah, no, definitely the school would be different without Jamil here. Because Jamil has honestly been a really positive impact in the school.
Y'all have different comments about that?
Amazing.
Nah, you have to come. This is the podcast.
Okay.
Nah, but if y'all have different comments, say it. Like, actually.
Nah, I'm gonna sign it.
Nah, you have a different comment. Come and say it, bro.
I'm gonna sign it.
Come on. Christian, you already
No,
said
not
it, bro.
Christian. Christian doesn't agree with it. Come and say it, bro.
I don't disagree. I'm saying I agree with you guys.
No, you don't, bro. I know you, bro.
I agree with y'all boys,
Bro, I see, bro. I can see it, bro. You want to disagree, but you just come here, bro.
All right, no, he doesn't want to, right? We
Alright.
can't force anyone.
Yeah, don't enforce it.
But
But I mean, yeah, I mean, he has been good. Obviously, like, then sometimes they have their negative sides and stuff like that, which I don't really want to talk about much on that end. But like, obviously, the school has its good things and the school has its bad things.
yeah. So before we end the podcast, because obviously you have your lunchtime, I gotta eat food.
Yeah.
I got drama after this.
What?
So before we finish it, what is one thing you want to let the audience know?
I mean, I guess the one thing, probably, there's this quote that I like to live by, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that sometimes you should elevate your words, not your voice, because rain is what makes flowers, not thunder. And kind of what that means is that you should try to always be with God. You should always try to like put positive things out there instead of just like berating and being always negative. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I try to leave off.
Thank you for this episode. This is episode 3. Thank you for being here with us, and see you on the next time. Never forget, Jesus loves you. All right, peace. Thank you for coming.